came in here by yourself, but you can leave with me, you feel me? I'm the type of guy you need to be with.
She just want wings, she just want to party. Came in the bed by herself, nobody. Trying to.
And we're back. Your boy SK in the building. Steve Lou, where you at?
Steve Lou, what it do?
Mama Mia, check in.
Hey.
Sexy Mila.
Hey.
LoftP is in the building, y'all. We got two very special guests with us today. To my what's this?
Right.
To my right is my main man, Mike. Clap it up for Mike. Clap it up for Mike. Clap it up for Mike.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
And to my, what's that? We gonna call it cattle corner.
I thought it was ladies first.
You right? Right, you right.
He wasn't on the road, right?
I'm your main man.
You know what? Fuck Mike. Hey. Hey. The lovely
Danielle Laroach. Thank you guys
there you
for
go.
having
Clap
me.
it up in this room.
Thank you guys.
Now, Mike, what's going on, man?
Fuck me, but that's all good.
Hey, but for real, so today we gonna, it's turning into a new year, 2018. So we want to know what the fashion is gonna look like this year. So we got these two very important people. They got backgrounds in the fashion industry, in the Atlanta scene. I want y'all to introduce yourselves to the camera, to the people. Let us know what y'all got going on, and get y'all kind of feedback on some things. So we'll start with the lovely.
Let ladies
there
go
you go.
first. Look, I know better. I'm gonna let ladies go first.
Well, I'm Danielle Laroach. I'm actually Miss Fashion Week Atlanta as a title I competed for here in Atlanta. I was a modeling competition. I competed in the petite category, and I help a lot of petite women, especially with fashion and blogging and just figuring out, like people don't consider petite women. It's a lot of attention to plus size or model size, but we do have a hard time shopping for clothes. Every woman has their own body type, but I do love to make every woman feel good no matter what their body type is. I'm really into hosting a lot of fashion shows, talking to people about fashion. This year I think people are not afraid to be bold, you know what I'm saying? From the hairstyles to a lot of fur sequence going on. So I'm super excited that, it was like fashion lost that flashy era for a second, So in 2018, I'm excited that people are choosing such bold colors and pieces and textures. Like tonight I chose to do leather, velvet, sequins, and fur just to show the different textures.
Stand up so people see what you got going on.
So here's my outfit.
Amen.
I would say where my outfit's from, but one thing is from H&M, so we're just gonna. But I do love to shop vintage, which I love that about Mike too. He loves to dig deep, and he doesn't really stay one-dimensional with his fashion as well, which I love about men. So let's move over to the guys, because I feel like guys are really saying something 2018. You guys are making some bold statements this year. Mike, what do you think?
What are you talking about,
I mean,
Mike?
I hope so. Thank you for that segue.
Yeah. We're hopeful.
I'm Michael Andrew, a.k.a. the Cat in the Hat. And I am a lifestyle coach, so my focus is actually to help men tell their story. So our company and myself believe that every man has a story, and that story soon becomes history or his story, and it all begins with a statement of style. So we try to help men make those statements on an ongoing basis. I believe that a uniform mind is always going to be uniform in how they move, and so our goal is to help 10,000 men over the course of 10 years, really help and cultivate their personal style and their personal expression. And with that being said, we also understand that men, once they start seeing that image of themselves, it starts to carry over into other aspects of their life. So a well-dressed man is often going to be well-spoken. He's going to be well expressed in different social and professional situations, and so we want to make sure that also shows up in those different types of spaces, and that's the life coaching aspect of it. As far as style and fashion, I think that men are starting to get back to individualism and really starting to understand what it means to be a stylish man in the modern day era, and with the access to people being able to be individuals and see that they still have a community, that they still have a tribe. We're really starting to get back to that. But when it comes to fashion and different things like that, expression is definitely at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
You just said a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm trying to condense it. Up in there.
Summarize everything.
A little something.
Now, one thing about Mike say he wanted to change the game for 10,000 men.
Right.
I'm potentially supposed to be one of those men he's gonna change the
Yeah.
game for. Anybody knows me knows I have a very
Particular.
wardrobe I like to use per se.
Okay. Rough around the edges.
Not necessarily. I did want to dabble a little bit, but you know, I stay in my little area, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm a red and black guy. Everything's either red or black, man. That's my comfort zone, man.
Okay.
So,
We would like to see him in some blue.
I
mean, he
might
be affiliated. No?
Right.
He might be affiliated. Though.
I didn't think about it.
Trying to get my man caught up and stuff.
Real,
You know
I
what
didn't think
I
about
mean?
it that way.
That's might run up on me or something.
No,
man.
but I think that that's one of the interesting things about style that I'm sure Danielle can probably elaborate on. When it comes to personal style, we have to remember, especially in menswear, there's an origin, and men are creatures of habit. Like, man has this particular type of drink that he likes. He has this particular type of car or brand that he likes. He has a particular type of woman that he likes. And so, one of the biggest things that we as style architects focus on is him not getting too far away from that. We do want to pull you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but it's actually that box. It's actually that compartmentalization that is going to speak most for who you are. If I take you out of your box, then you're no longer SK. You're somebody else.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to keep you in that space.
So basically, what you're gonna do is you just gonna grow the box a little bit.
Yeah, we want to grow you and
Refine
continue
I'm
the
to
still
box.
being in the box.
Yeah.
You can make the box bigger.
Yeah.
Ah.
Cause you know when
And
you
eventually
like,
come out the box.
that's something I had to get out of too. You know, like you get dressed and you're like, how do I look? And you're so like you're looking at that person like you blinked, I don't look good. And I realized that what makes you look good is feeling good. You know, so if you look in the mirror and it's somebody give you like mine, your dress is stuck in your underwear, like take the advice, but I'm saying like if you go with how you feel. I think that goes back with when like that's so important because a lot of people think when you're coming to get a makeover or a lifestyle culture, someone they think like, oh, they're gonna change everything, and I'm gonna it's not about changing, it's just about refining, so I think that's dope. But
It's like when you try on your clothes and you had a good outfit.
Yes.
If you do the dance,
And you drop it down.
That's how you know it's a good outfit.
And then
if
you think about
if you don't get the feel to do the dance, it's just like
if you don't get a
yeah.
if the outfit don't.
No, I hope y'all,
Yeah.
Fellas, we don't need to be doing that.
No.
It's just the ladies. You gotta do that dance. That's how you know. Oh, okay.
If you do that,
yeah.
If you squint at yourself, wear it.
You know what Dion said though, right, man? You look good, you feel good.
Yeah, most
you
definitely.
feel good, you play good. You play good, you get paid good. Man.
Hey.
Hey.
Dion
Yeah.
sounds very Dion. What you saying?
I was
Move
saying,
for 2018.
So if a client hires you and you go to their closet, like what is the process? Especially like me, I have a lot of black. Like how do you get people to even know like what their style is or be comfortable enough to like step out the box?
That's the perfect place. I think the first thing to do is to like let that person show you their thing. You know how like people want to walk in and automatically take over. It's not you taking over. You're actually going to learn this person. So they have it backwards. They're like, oh, like we were just saying, it's not to come take over stuff. I would come into your closet. I would look at your closet like, okay, what can I learn here? Like how many pair of shoes does she have? Is she more of an outerwear person? Does she have 15 blazers and 2 pair of pants that she relies on? Does she have a bunch of shoes and then doesn't know what to do with clothes? Like I need to see where you need help at. Are you messy? That could be one of your problems. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot, like you know what I'm saying? Like you go in someone's closet and you're like, hey.
I feel like she knows my life.
I'm looking like, hey, your issue is if you just put all the shirts together and put all your pants together, then maybe this would be a little easier.
Color
But I think
coordinated.
that's the thing when you go into that person's closet and it's like, remember that old show on MTV where you would like go in the person's room and you want to date them or something if you went through their room. That's how you have to go to a person's closet. Like it's like you don't even know the person. You just go into the closet. And it's harder when it's friends and people that you know because they feel very judged. It's so much easier to help people with fashion when you usually don't have a personal relationship.
Wait,
Yeah.
you say they would go like in the closet and date the person based on the closet?
No, they're going in their
It was
room.
a
It was a
show.
show.
In the room.
They go in their room and they will wake you
Like,
up
we're
from your house.
digressing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You gonna bring us back?
Yeah. It's like if now, like if you went into my home and it's like, okay, she got a lot of fresh fruits. I like that. Like,
But I think that's what a lot of people miss out on is that this is an extension of who we are, and that's why like going into somebody's closet is a very personal.
Yeah.
It's a
you.
personal engagement, right?
Yeah.
I'm stepping into the mind of how that person is
You're
going
getting
to
your
put
bed
things together, and if I step into a person's home, that's one of the reasons why after we get your wardrobe together, what we focus on is moving into your house. Like It's one thing when you invite a young lady over to your crib, to your house, and you got a big screen TV, you got a couch, and a box spring in a bed, right? Like, versus the dude who has a plush couch and she feels comfortable in there. He has some wonderful candles going on. He has a great sound system, so he's creating an ambiance or an experience. Because fellas often focus on acts. Women focus on experiences a lot of times. So, like, what type of environment have you set up for me? What type of setting have you set up for me when we're stepping into those different types of things? And I'm thinking, and that's what we need to do.
Now he like, oh.
So, let the fun begin. Time to get in this bag. Come on,
get in this bag.
Get in this
The
bag.
crown,
Get in this bag.
The crown bag is the fun bag.
Okay, if you say so.
Hand it to Mama Mia so she read out your fate today. Come on.
Click your heels. Drum roll, please.
I think I can.
What is your wildest fetish?
Oh my gosh.
Inquiry minds want to
Good
know.
one.
Let's-
Good one.
I feel like what I thought of when you first asked me is just too much.
What is your
Hey,
wildest?
ain't no such thing as too much.
What is
I
yours,
do-
mine?
Want me to tell you
your
mine?
wildest fetish?
Let me tell you mine.
Something with knees.
Oh, okay.
No, we want to hear her. We
Really?
want to hear
Because I was
you.
gonna say knees. My knees are my spot.
These are everything that
Oh
they're
my
obsessed
god,
with.
my knees are
Look at
anyway.
Margaret, can we see your knees?
My weirdest fetish, yeah. My weirdest
Oh,
fetish
she got nice
is
knees. She got
Yes, she
Nice knees,
do.
see?
my weirdest fetish.
Go
See?
for gadget
Hold on.
eyes.
She used to clown me like, how you like knees? And all of a sudden you go tell somebody they got nice knees?
I mean, but I
Where's
to say
the
she got
ball?
nice knees, but it
Okay.
doesn't turn me on.
Well, it turns me on.
I know.
Nice
It's
knees.
special.
Calm down.
I think gosh, a fetish?
Say what you gonna say, man. Speak your mind.
Fetish.
FETIS.
You like mustaches, beards, no mustaches.
Guys who don't
Bald
wear
headed
t-shirts
guys.
underneath their shirts.
Guys who like knees.
Guys with taco meat.
Absolutely.
I feel like such a weirdo right now.
Good.
Let's say it.
No, I don't have one. I'm saying like I don't know.
You have no fetish.
Really nice underwear.
Mm.
Like I love.
What's
What's
nice
nice
underwear?
underwear?
What is nice
Like the
underwear?
briefs, the
It doesn't
boxers.
have to be
The
the
boxer
brand.
briefs.
It doesn't mean the brand. It just is like if they're new looking.
So
Boxers.
fresh
Like-
shit.
But is it
Whitey,
boxers,
fresh
boxer
balls.
briefs, boxer
Some
briefs?
boxer briefs.
So he got pre-popping tags on his underwear?
It could be.
Just no dude
Long as
things.
it's a
No,
fresh pair.
yeah.
No little lint balls.
Yeah, like really
Popping
fresh.
tags.
That doesn't turn you on when someone's undergarments are just so pristine.
And they all smell like X.
I'm gonna be honest,
That doesn't do anything for you?
I never
The
thought
popping
about
tags
it.
on
I
the.
never
Popping tags on
Just
his
take them
Y'all,
off.
let me,
that's the
let me
first
get all
thing.
let me get all of those over there and pop the tags on all of those.
When I'm
Little
dating
things.
someone, that's the first thing I buy them as a gift. Is underwear
Underwear.
that matches
Yo,
their style.
low key though,
Dope.
that's the best gift I feel like any girlfriend can get for a dude. Cause that's
Girlfriend, but she said when she first started dating.
I'm still
I'm
gonna
weird,
give you some
weird. Like I
love.
buy you a
But
gift.
so
like,
before
when I
you
first
slept with a
meet
guy, you buying him drawers?
It's not giving them the wrong message.
I'll have the right
Or
drawers
that's
on
the
when
message
I
you wanna
didn't
give.
know
I'm a
anything
giving person. Off top, I need to see if this person is the type of person to take advantage because I'm the type of woman like I'm gonna give you everything. Like you
The
gonna
drawers?
Shit.
State the facts.
Shit.
drop just an easy gift. You want something that somebody will use whether they like it or not.
Right.
Whether it's their
That's
favorite
true.
color or not.
That's true.
Whether it's
That's
their favorite
100.
brand or not.
You know you'll get your money's
It's
worth.
gonna come rain, dog day, whatever. Let me put in the underwear that girl got me.
Since you do like style and stuff, and you talking about style stuff, you dress your man too. You gonna buy him what you want him to wear and all that stuff too.
Not if that's not what they want. I don't like people being comfortable. I have a thing like I don't know if it's because I have such a passion. That's all a passion for fashion. I don't know if it's because I have such a passion for fashion, but it's never been a time that I have dated a person and they weren't already super stylish. Like I've always like encouraged and inspired them to want to, dress up, or even if it's just once a week, or it's no one that I've been with or
Because
dated.
you were
in any
attracted
type
to their
of way.
style originally then.
Yeah,
Right.
and they've always told me like I help them develop their style in a way, and I love when it can be mutual. But I know that, and not even like being like, yeah, I dress all my booze, but it's nobody I haven't dated that has to come back to me and said, you know what, you really helped me with understanding. More so with me, it's understanding your presence and how important it is when you walk into a room. So people are wondering like, I wear like to be glamorous because I'm an actress and a model. So therefore, I need to look like an actress and a model when I walk into the room. That's how I feel, you know. So I don't feel like everyone needs to be, but you know, whatever is for you. So I have dated people that were like, I need you to dress down. Those relationships didn't last. So you know what I mean? And for me, asking me to dress down means you don't have something together with you know, because you can have on your Dickies, whatever, like that shit is hot, that's sexy to me, you know what I'm saying? I'll be
Dickies?
with my, it depends on where you're coming from.
Oh, not the
If you're
Dickie
coming
suit.
from
Not the Dickie suit.
Dickie suit, if you're coming from the plant, from a long day, you work
from the work.
from the work, okay, work.
If you
And you
just standing out on the block, it's
No, that's a different type of difference.
No, that's Dickies with your name spray painted on the back. That's the Pepe and Leroy Dickies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, like, get into it. Underwear is a nice gift. You know, it's harder for I will say a man to do it for a woman because I think you would be like, man, she like lace, she like cotton, she like thongs, she like boy shorts. For a man, it's like you can really tell from his clothing what type of underwear he wears most times. So it's an easy gift to buy.
Really?
Yeah. I look at that underwear print and I'm like, all right. Oh, you see you box of briefs. I see you box of briefs. I know what I'm getting you next week. You know. So
Now they look. I see Steve and them over there think like,
right.
I do like the short boxer briefs though. That's like
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
like
So you can see a
like-
bicep.
draws, like kind of almost bikini.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not the
bikini.
ones. Yeah, they have the short
They have
boxer
the
briefs
short
that come
ones.
like
I know what
yeah,
you're talking about, man.
like
Yeah.
like the boy shorts.
Boy shorts.
Hey,
Yes.
that's gay as
No, it's
Give me
not.
some. Give me some.
hey, man.
I like the short boxer briefs.
Yeah.
I know.
We lost more than 10 pounds.
Hey,
Thank you.
man.
Maybe we'll be sure to edit that part
Hey,
out.
man.
Now,
Let me
it
tell
is
you
my
something.
turn.
No, stop.
You can't talk
Pour him
Hey, man. Hey, man. If you got your boyfriend, he come home with like some boy shorts on, I'm gonna need you to kind
They're
of
not called boy shorts.
They're not boy
Boxer
shorts. That's
briefs.
just what we wear.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I could
It's the
relate
same
to.
thing. You
It's
change
not
the
the
name
same
of
thing.
it.
It's not because
Our
the
boy
boy
shorts
shorts
have our ass
have
hanging
our
out,
cheeks
the
out. The
cuppage.
boy shorts.
Y'all
So you
are
can
not.
get so it's
No, I just
No.
said that because she knew what I was related
Yes.
to.
Yes. Boy shorts are cheeky.
Yes, for sure.
And they're for women.
I wouldn't know.
But
I
she
don't
knew.
wear
But
those.
they both knew what
So
we,
you
we
don't-
all
do you
know
wear
what we were
boxer
talking
briefs?
about.
Yes, I do.
How long do they come? How
They
far?
come mid-thigh.
Okay, they have some a little shorter.
They have some a little higher.
That's not right.
That is right. That's,
Not
that's
no
what
way.
I prefer.
It's got intense.
You always like on other shit though.
This one from
You was in high school telling me how sexy Prince was. That was
Oh,
crazy.
she does.
Prince are sexy.
I'm obsessed.
But this was like in 98, 96.
She's always been
I
obsessed
love
with
Prince since
Prince.
I was a little girl.
I know it. You was telling us that in high school. And this was when Thugs was in like style. She was like Prince is the
You
sexiest
kind
man
of
alive. We
resemble
was
his
like, what?
wife a little bit.
Which
His
one?
ex-wife.
Monte or the-
Became symbol.
That's how I know you for real, because she was like, which
Yeah.
one? Which one was?
She is
She
a
on
diehard
ball.
fan.
I mess with that.
Prince
Nah.
is a legend. Anybody can be. That's somebody you can be diehard. But you know, some people are like diehard. You're like, yo, they need to put in some more work.
I just remember being like 97 and seeing that album cover with him like holding his like underwear, being like, nah.
Well,
bro.
while we talking about fashion, Prince was like the king.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but you remember the era we
What,
was in back
what
then.
kind of
though.
fashion though?
Of
Because
just
he wore like.
Prince remained no matter what era came through. He
No,
he
what I'm
remained
saying is,
such
what
a-
I'm saying, he didn't wear like a lot of men's clothes. Nah, but I
He wore
I'm not,
blouses.
I'm not saying it like it's so.
He wore
But he was
blouses.
like a lot of
Like he was in
You
his
gotta
own
understand
lane.
about real
He
style.
was
though.
an artist.
Actually,
He
a lot
was
of
being
stuff that he was
creative.
wearing. But let's be clear.
Let's be honest.
If you study your history, a lot of stuff that he was wearing actually
Yeah, it's
was
starting to transpire
masculine.
now.
Was
Exactly.
actually
Right.
was
Beethoven.
masculine.
With the-
I mean, you talk about frills. You talk about now. If you had your booty cheeks out, that's
Right.
a little bit different. But what I'm saying is, and again, he was a true representation of what personal style actually is. Personal style is actually your own ownership of your identity. And because he was an artist, and because his music was so eccentric, I mean, you got to remember, Prince played what 12 instruments.
People went to the
Yeah,
concert just to see what he had on.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, you're talking about a mastery of a wide range of different elements that spoke to what he actually wore. So Prince was still very masculine in his own space, but not necessarily from contemporary standpoint.
All right, so I got a question.
If a man has it on, it's men's.
This was almost a fight with me and a couple homeboys a couple times ago. I'm gonna get your opinion on this.
Let me just take a deep breath.
This is like it's real serious. I feel like it got real serious.
I'm all like
It got
this.
heated.
Right.
This debate.
Mm-hmm.
Prince or Mike?
I hate when people do that. First of all, those are two
different
totally
people.
different.
And they
Hey man, hey, it's what it is. Prince and Mike.
I'm gonna say Prince, and I'm gonna say Prince. One, as an artist, Prince. First of all, Prince put people on. Michael Jackson didn't do nothing
He was
for nobody.
selfish.
Prince put Tevin Campbell on. What's the little Vanity Six, Apollonia, Sheila E. The Time. Like he was writing music for people. Michael Jackson was just doing his own little thing. Michael Jackson as a singer, I would say him. But
He's
as
a
I mean, you
performer.
mean he was doing his own
artist,
thing
He's a
public? I mean,
performer.
publicly?
what do you mean?
I mean, how do we know he didn't help people privately?
He did
What do you
give a
mean? I'm
lot
talking
back to the
about who did
community.
he
I
introduce
mean, he
to us?
helped a lot
I
of,
mean,
like, charities and stuff.
Oh, I'm not saying
Well, you know, you gotta wrap the money that
Yeah.
he's bringing in.
I'm talking about
Everybody
making
doing
other
that.
people come up.
Hold on, I
Like,
feel like
give it to the next
somebody
generation.
famous is Mike that kind
Who?
of came up
No,
on the mic.
nobody, not one person.
I mean, you
I
have
have
to
my phone
Google
to
it.
Google it right
Yeah,
now.
we can't say that's a fact.
But
Well, I
Macaulay
can
Culkin
name
and him
people
had a
off the
special
rep
relationship.
from
That's-
Prince.
I could have not named none of them people you said on
Macaulay
Prince.
Home Alone.
Are you
You know he
serious?
discovered Tevin Campbell?
No, I already know that.
You
So
don't
he
watch,
wasn't the Pretty
Pretty
Bridge.
What's
Did
that?
you guys know that?
Oh my
This
God.
got
Macaulay
really intense,
Culkin
like,
was pushing
immediate.
him off
Those
stage
aren't
by
facts, though. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
those are facts. Those are facts.
Okay, can we see the facts?
Can you
I
Google
mean,
it?
you can Google it. I'm in the middle of a show. I'm not gonna pull it out, but he definitely discovered Tevin Campbell.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Actually, I mean, I ain't
About that.
Reach
not
into
time for that
reach
yet.
into
Not
the
time for
crown
that.
bag.
I'm concerned, like, we
Back to
have
back.
It's not time for
back
that.
to back. Is it that
Those
time?
are two totally different artists.
Bag
Y'all always putting our people up
questions,
against
ideas.
each other.
You're just so anxious for everything, man. Calm down,
I'm
man.
excited about life in the
Yeah,
bag.
man.
That's a good
Still.
thing to be excited about. The bag is always a
I
good
thought
thing
it was
to be
time
excited
for him.
about.
Mike got a pull from the bag.
Yeah,
Not at this time is
See, obviously, this is where I
because
tell
they
y'all
gonna say
don't,
we didn't
y'all don't
read.
go through y'all shit because it clearly
We
says
did read.
bag, 2 questions, bag.
We just did some questions about Prince and Michael Jackson and talked about
We
fashion.
done did like
fashion.
3 or 4
But did she not say we supposed to send this shit out as long as possible?
Okay.
Can we just not?
Yeah.
Well, what you want
Hey,
to
but
talk
on some real stuff. So earlier today, you said that your stuff is H&M. I want to get your opinion on that.
No, I do not want to represent H&M. My website is DanielleLaroach.com. That's DanielleLaroach. I sell garments on there. Wonderful, wonderful garments. You can get a discount price. Don't go to those stores.
Don't go to
Don't
them
take your
folks.
money. A little black-owned business as well. But honestly, I can be very cut and dry about the H&M thing. There are plenty of companies that have spoken out about African Americans saying that their clothes are not made for us. We don't look right in their clothes. Tommy Hilfiger. We have companies like Red Monkey. We have Bathing Apes that people have put on for years, and those companies have made racial remarks, never have taken them back.
Really?
They have never commented on them, and I feel like we can say what we want to say about H&M, but as soon as they dropped it and it was an issue, they removed it and they sent an apology. Now people are still wearing Tommy Hilfiger, and he has yet to say he wants a nigga to wear his clothes. So I don't have an issue with H&M. They're a company. They made a mistake just like I do in business all the time. They put something out. Yes, it was racial. Yes, it raised marks, but also it wasn't. They didn't drop it in. They didn't drop it in the United States either. They dropped it in the UK, where there's a different, different.
They're a
So
Swedish company, right?
they
Yes.
knew who, what target audience they were. They weren't trying to send that over. They knew that would be a shit sham in America. So I people go back and forth with. I don't work in the corporate office at H&M, so I don't know the morality. I don't know if it was just vicious. You know what I'm saying? For me, looking at it, it was clearly racial. But my thing as an African American that is consumed in the fashion industry, it's one of my titles. I don't feel like I should stop shopping at H&M or boycott them because they did what a lot of companies have yet to do. They made a statement and they removed the shit.
So you think it was a deliberate, racial act? Like,
Yeah.
let's put this black boy in this shirt.
There's no way that you could not have, even if it's not past the photographers. How did it get? First, how did it
The
get past
mama.
marketing?
How did the mother be okay with them putting that on?
How did it get out of the factory?
The mom was just trying to get a
But it has
check.
nothing to do with the company.
But
The
the
company
mother's
should have
not
known
American
that.
either.
It shouldn't have. It should have
No,
never
she's
been.
not.
So-
Yeah.
So if I may just jump in several spaces. Number one, it's important to understand that when it comes to something being racially insensitive, there's a difference between racial insensitivity and full out bigotry and racism, right? It's important to also understand that companies like Tommy Hilfiger, like some of these other companies that have said things that were not the most racially sensitive or we're going to be appreciating their demographic, is important to be understood in context. Because with Tommy Hilfiger, he said
again, the full context of his quote was, "I did not intend for this to be worn by black people, but I'm very thankful for my customer base." Right. So it's important to understand that. Now, that's not to say that there still wasn't some racial undertone there. When it comes to H&M, places like H&M, Zara, of course, I'm never gonna get this check, but when it comes to any fast fashion types of stores, especially for men, women is a little bit different, but we need to understand the environmental implications that come into fast fashion. Fast fashion is actually created for it to be discarded almost as quickly as it was purchased, especially when it comes to menswear, right? So that shirt that you spent $60 on only costs $3 to make, and it's probably using a workforce that is not going to be the most structurally sound when it comes to their rights. And so because of that, that's actually the second cause of environmental issues that we have in the global sphere, because of the amount of clothing that's being mass produced at such a high rate for such a high quick return. So when it comes to even before we even started talking about the racial issues, that was already an issue that I had with H&M. You got guys coming in spending $15, $20 on something that costs 50 cents to make, and then they're right back into the store 2 weeks later, right? And then they don't understand what that's doing for them psychologically. From the aspect of this being a European thing, let's not forget that England and London actually dealt with heavy amounts of racism, and their racism has only become that much more subtle when it comes to how they view things. If you look at the interview with the mother, she said, "I've been called a monkey before." So she understood the racial implications in England, right? I think that there was a economic element that a lot of people do not want to talk about when you start talking about the amount of money that childhood model would have been. And so it turns into a what's your price type of conversation. Now, I have no right to judge that woman because I don't understand her life and I'm not in that space, but I do think that it speaks to a bigger issue for the amount of women of color that we see on fashion runways, the amount of the amount of people of color that we see in design houses. Because you guys may not know this, but there's less than 10% of people of color, especially melanated people, in design houses for major fashion firms. That could be racial, or that could be talent based. I don't know, but the signs are there, and I've seen plenty of.
Okay, and then on the opposite end, on that note, then since you got companies like H&M and the ones that have said the racial comments or whatever, which are the ones that you have noticed that are like in support of or in accordance like with black people? Who's the ones for us?
Yeah, I'm definitely with Danielle in supporting black business. There's a great company called Ramamar in New York. Ramamar is a Egyptian based. That's where its inspiration comes from. Street fashion, amazing. You have black designers like Tracy Reese who have been in the game for at this point 15, 20 years. Designers like Stephen Burrows. My milliner. I have two milliners. B and Frank in New York, as well as Flamekeepers Hat Club. And again, there's just numerous designers who are people of color, and that's not to say you can't support a Ralph Lauren or a Tommy Hilfiger. But what I'm saying is that, especially in the markets that we live in now, the fact that you have these smaller markets that are actually going to be feeding their families, not feeding billion-dollar corporate interests, why not take the chance to look out on those different types of spaces? Because the quality of clothing is a pretty even playing field now.
Matter of fact, while we talking that subject, shout out to Raunchy Clothing, man. Designed this fresh LoftP shirt for me, man. One meal ago, man. Raunchy Clothing. I need to check that out. But this is my question about that subject matter. From H&M standpoint, if they did do that intentionally, right, and if it was intentional, what's the end game? What's the goal? Like, when you're doing business, moves have goals, things we're trying to accomplish. What were they trying to accomplish, right? Because from my standpoint, it's like, if we do this on purpose, we're going to piss off a customer base and lose customers. So how is that beneficial to them?
That's a great question. It's like all the other things is to show that group of people that you're that unimportant to us economically.
Show power.
It shows power. It shows, I think it shows, just like we have different musicians that come out and, it's like we have a certain musician came out and everybody's like, oh my God, he's a devil worshiper. Next week, everybody's buying his album.
Well, my question to that is, if that's the case, then why the apology afterwards then? Because you trying to flex your muscle. If I'm trying to flex my muscle on you, when you call me, I'm gonna be like,
because they catching more flies with honey.
I mean,
and they came in with a heartfelt apology and pulled this shit.
Well, again, I think it's always about the game. If that was their intention, there's a difference between you saying, "Yo, I knocked you out," and everybody saw it that I knocked you out. It was on World Star or whatever situation, and right after that, I come back and say, "Yo, I'm sorry because I'm not trying to go to jail." Right? So there's a different, and I'm not saying again that that's what their intention was, but like, if this is the game, let me play the game. Like, we still did, we saw our stock market shares fall. Again, there's a bigger implication here, if, as far as how things are going to be running.
So
but
have they been losing since that?
I'm not gonna say that because I didn't look at the numbers, but I can say that they were trending for 2 weeks. Now, like a lot of people say, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right. Because personally, to be real, I had never heard of H&M. I had no clue what the fuck it was.
So then,
you've been living under a rock, dude.
We've had shirts made from H&M.
But I think that.
Really?
But I think that what you just said.
Who knew?
But I think that what you just said is a very major key for a lot of people. Like, again, I may hate them at this point, but they're on my radar, and unfortunately, the contemporary public is ridiculously fickle. So all it's going to take is a collaboration with said brand that we love or that we enjoy.
Or until they fall off.
Yeah.
Just like Dove. I'm sure
all
all the black people saying they weren't going to wear Dove or use it anymore. I bet you those same people still got it in their house.
And I won't be shopping at H&M either.
But that Dove shit was kind of some other shit. Like,
but I like the next day how everybody was going crazy saying, "Oh, Diddy was giving the kid $1 million modeling contract," whether it was real, it was a fake publicity stunt or not. What I like about it was just like how, okay, Donald Trump is the president, shit is crazy, he's not shit, but I've never seen people standing up for themselves like this before. You know?
Right.
And it sucks that something like that had to happen to bring it in. So H&M is just like everything else. It is giving people of color, you know what? Maybe we never noticed how racist you were.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing us how racist I were. And look at Diddy. Even if he wasn't giving this child $1 million for a modeling contract, he has the ability to do it. So you know what? Let me stop shopping at H&M. Let me start supporting black businesses so that we can make moves like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it did for me.
And
I don't think it did anything for H&M.
Well, and it sparked a lot of
There
conversation.
was a lot of riots. They had to shut down a lot of H&M.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not to benefit them.
And it's
to
also
benefit
important to
us, even
understand
though
that
it's
this
trying
is-
to hurt us.
and shout out to my man, if I can, Chris Classic, who made a great song about that. So I mean, even from a creative standpoint, fighting those that bigotry. But it's also important to understand that like a lot of retail is transitioning and changing, which is another conversation. But a lot of stores are closing their doors.
Yeah.
And people are becoming more conscious, period. You know, with their food, with their clothes, with their children being where, you know, now, you know, mothers used to just say like, "What's the school in the neighborhood?" You know, now, you know, we're becoming more conscious, and it's a good thing. But things like this are gonna have to happen to keep us on our toes. You know, so what racial standpoint it was from, it benefited people of color. I feel like if they grasped it the correct way.
we are definitely in the stay woke era.
Yeah, they creeping.
On another note, my co-hostess was just like this me kind of like asked me what am I doing with
Your joggers?
jogging pants on a fashion episode.
Oh man,
How
do you feel?
I feel good.
Well, see,
That's
then
all
you look
that
great.
matters.
See?
It's all about you. How do you
Wearing
feel?
in my gray joggers.
Right? If you had a 3-piece suit on, like, picture yourself right now.
I do the suit too though.
I'm saying right now, though.
Hold on.
I never seen you.
Hold on. While we at it, what's up with chicks in gray jogging pants? Like, that's something that just kind of like got on me all of a sudden. Like,
It's a dick print.
that's all.
It's not just gray, it's light color pants.
Yes.
Like if you have gray work pants and you have khaki color work
I mean,
pants.
I need to see your underwear.
The whole
print.
point is that to see the print.
Yeah.
You can see my print, my black jogging pants.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Powerful.
It doesn't have to be jogging pants. Like if you have work slacks on, like light color pants, you could just.
But I just know, like, all of a sudden,
It's a better contour.
Black fades.
Yeah.
I just started like kind of seeing people, girls always say, "Oh, he got great jogging pants on." It's a meme that goes like, the dude goes like,
you really don't see guys wearing any other.
Hold on. It's a meme. It's
the
like
gray jogging pants, Underground Network.
Hold on.
It's either gray or
Hey,
black.
you see that meme was like the dude got on gray sweatpants and a white t-shirt. The girl like, "Where you going dressed like a slut?" Or something like you see that move?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's how y'all feel?
That's how y'all feel? Is that deep?
I don't care.
Cause if it is, I'm about to go load up some great chocolate.
Don't be wearing gray sweatpants if you're not equipped to
Yeah.
be
I'm
wearing
well
Gray
equipped,
jogging
man.
pants or the booty shorts for men. Like,
I'm a grower.
But
Don't
I'm just
judge
saying,
me
gray
by my.
sweatpants are for the showers.
the groundhog coming.
You better check my reputation. Wow.
Hey, y'all
Sorry.
stupid. Oh my
Sorry,
god.
not sorry.
Peekaboo.
Wow. I'm learning so much this evening. Thank you.
It's very
Our
educational.
pleasure.
Not only are we
educational.
fun, we're very educational.
Very
Yes.
educational. Thank you so much.
Now, Mama Mia, you may do the honors of giving Mike in the bag.
Oh, nervous.
Oh,
Don't be
shit.
nervous.
You got fetishes over here.
I know.
Did you shake it
Let
around?
me see everywhere.
Mike, don't pick
Let
the
me
wrong shit.
Really?
Don't pick the
I'm
wrong
gonna show you
shit.
my underwear.
You
Show
don't
me
get
my.
to read
Show me
it.
your
Jamila's
knees.
gonna
Oh,
read it.
I'm sorry.
Because you might see.
Don't pick the wrong shit, Mike.
I'm nervous now.
Well, it's not bad. What was your worst night partying ever?
Oh man. Our worst night party ever probably was in New York. We had been there for a year. It was like an industry party. I forgot what the name of
You was
the
at the
spot
party
was.
for a year?
Damn. It was lit. Super
Lit.
lit.
Shit.
Super lit. You gotta know about those. Sorry. No. But we were at a party a year into me living in New York, and it was kind of like this industry party or whatever. And I remember just getting super drunk. And so when I got drunk, I don't even remember. But it obviously wasn't no dark liquor because I wasn't on my dark until like till a little bit older. But
Probably is
Gin or some shit.
or like a adios motherfucker, something like that. Something I had no business drinking, right?
Gin, some golden grain,
Something.
something like that. Something just
So
uncivilized.
I remember trying to talk to this chick, and I'm the type of dude when I get drunk, like I start talking for other people, like I become the friendly guy, and I want to hook everybody up. So I was with my homeboy, a really close friend of mine, and there was this pretty young lady. I was like, "Yo, I got this dude that I want you to meet. Like he's a multi-millionaire." I'm lying and blowing up my head.
You the real
Hey,
man. You the real MVP.
MVP. And
You
so
roll me any day.
So she's like, yo, we all get money in here.
All
Like,
get
don't
money.
How
nobody
them New
care.
Yorkers are.
And so I'm like, and so I think I started
Everybody
cursing her
eats
out. Like, what? Like, you need to know my man over here. You crazy. So I'm like flipping her the bird, all types of just reckless stuff. And so my homie like has to come essentially save me. Like, no, yo, listen, he drunk. Like, I'm so sorry. And I asked him the next day, I was like, yo, did you at least get the number? Like, did that? He was like, no, bro, I couldn't even do that because you was
You
wilding
blew
out.
it.
You ruined
So we finally ended up outside. As the club was letting up, I threw up all over the place. And it was New York, like, because it was New York, you
It was
just never knew who you was
multiplied.
going to run into.
Right.
So to this day, like, I'm nervous walking down the street in New York because I'm going to walk up to this girl and she's going to slap me and I'm going to be like, I feel like I deserve that. Like,
Sound like a rough night.
yeah, so it was a rough
Big
night.
city, big city.
But middle finger to my whole life.
Hey,
And,
be like that sometimes.
yeah, so, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why we say drink responsibly.
And here's the thing, too, that I'll tell people, like, I was like 26, 27. Like,
Yeah.
now, you know, so when you in your 20s, you get that pass. When you in your 30s, like, people start looking at you a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not
you
cute.
too old for this. Like,
Yeah.
27.
Oh, please don't say too old.
No, I'm saying you too old for certain things
Yeah.
past a certain age.
Right,
like,
right.
You
Like,
know
why
what I
you
mean?
throwing
So,
up?
A lot of people. Have you ever drunk so much and just start dancing to where you turn sober?
I mean, I might be the only one.
I think you are.
But it worked for me, so I was very happy for
Hey,
that.
become
I can't
who
speak
you
for
are.
either way. I said.
There you go. I was very happy that happened when that happened. That's a good
I don't
time.
know though. I do know. Shirley Temples do have me a little bent. I be
Ooh, that grenadine.
That takes a big man to be like, yo, Shirley Temple.
And
Work without
Number one,
cherry.
and they got me a little
And then
bit.
the drink is pink too, so it's take a
It's
real
not
man to drink
pink,
that.
bro. It's red.
It's
Is
pink.
it blush?
With the
It's
cherry.
Is it
With the
blush?
cherry. Don't forget the
It's
cherry.
With or without
Cherry.
cherries, Steve?
With the cherry.
Absolutely with cherries. It's not pink. It's red.
It's
bro.
pink.
I'm telling you right now, if I'm on a date with a nigga and he ordered a Shirley Temple with some cherries, last date.
As soon as he
Why
ordered,
can't
I'm
you
saying,
you can't
Hey,
not
hold on, hold
accept
on,
him for
hold on,
I don't
hold on,
know.
hold on,
Uber.
stop,
You're
stop.
gonna Uber.
No.
That's why you single. Nigga, take that.
You single because you ordered Shirley Temples.
I'm single 'cause I'm obsessed with these.
Because
Oh.
you're obsessed with these.
Yeah, and somebody ruined it for me.
Oh,
but we're not
man.
gonna talk about that on camera.
I'm sure you ruined it for yourself.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa,
They
whoa,
come
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Dick.
Wow.
Hey, well,
No.
look.
It was one of my
Oh,
fault.
who Who signed
you
you
look at
off?
the need.
Jesus Christ.
But look, check it out.
Sorry.
We had a great
I thought it was
conversation
good.
with Miss Danielle Laroach.
Yes.
Can you give us your social media?
Yeah, on my social media is at Danielle Laroach. That's at DANIELLELAROACH. And my website is the same, DanielleLaroach.com.
How we find you, Big Mike?
Style Architects on all social media platforms. So Style Architects is STYLEARCHITEXTS. So like you're sending a text. I practice too. Like I practice mine too. And you can check me on my YouTube channel for Style Speaks if you need weekly tips and tutorials on how to showcase your style for some casually elegant, casual fly types of expressions. And we therefore, and we also are talking about like dating and sex in a modern digital age. So we definitely about that.
Let's
He's
get
all
it.
about the sex.
I'm talking
Let's
about.
get it.
Yeah. Wait, man, I appreciate y'all coming.
Embrace
We appreciate y'all coming out.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
It's a
y'all.
great
Content.
time.
Thanks for the love.
Hey, Fab, what's up, man?
All right, everybody, we checking out, man. Life of the party. You know,
LoftP.
We'll see you guys next time up in the loft.
LoftP 100.
party don't stop.